Jennifer Baker and I'm the owner of 800 Furniture. Today I would love to show you a super fun project that you can do using these simple wooden turned candlesticks from your local craft store. We are going to transform these using Miss Mustard Seeds milk paint products, and we are going to create two different and very beautiful looks. We're going to need a couple of things to get started, so let's go through our material list and make sure that we have everything that we need. First, you're going to need your candlesticks. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You can find them at your local craft store. These happen to be pillar candle holders. They're made of pine, and I grabbed these from my local craft store. Now, because these wooden candlesticks are made out of pine and they have little knots and some sap streaks in them, we're going to need a product called shellac. Shellac is a product that we're going to use to seal in those areas so that they don't bleed through our paint. To apply our shellac, we're going to need a special brush called a chip brush. Chip brushes look like this. They are disposable brushes that you can find in the aisle of any paint store. And you're also going to need a stir stick, and then you're going to need something to open up your can of shellac. Next, we're going to need a couple of things for the milk paint portion of this project. We're going to need some vessels to mix our paint in. I'm just using regular white ironstone cups. You can use whatever you have. Plastic cups are fine. I have a paintbrush, two different size scoops to measure my milk paint, and then two different mixing utensils. I have popsicle sticks and then little teeny tiny mini whisks. Next, we need our actual milk paint. So I have my milk paint in two glass containers. The first color is Curio, which is a warm and rich brown. The second color we're going to be using is Schloss, and this is a very warm grayish color. So we have our milk paint, and then we're also going to need some hemp oil, and then I have some white wax. We're going to start with our first look, which is to use Miss Mustard Seeds Schloss to create a beautiful grayish painted candlestick with a beautiful white wax finish. So first, what we're going to do is take our candlesticks and we are going to prep them by applying shellac. And the reason why we're doing this is because if you look closely, as I turn the candlestick, you can see areas where there are knots, and if we paint over those, there's a really good chance that they are going to show through our finished look, which we don't want. That's called bleed through. Whenever you're painting something that has a lot of knots to it, it's always a good idea to either prime those or shellac them so that the tannins, which are in those little knotty bits, don't come through your finished piece. So here's how you use shellac. You can buy this in the paint aisle of your local hardware store, and you get yourself either a screwdriver or a little paint opener, and you just open the can. Easy. Grab yourself a stir stick, and you want to give this a really good stir because as paint sits on the shelves in paint stores, it has a tendency to separate and all the good stuff goes right down to the bottom because of gravity. So you want to give your shellac a really good stir with a stir stick. Once your shellac is all stirred up, you can go ahead and start painting it onto your candlestick. I am using a throwaway disposable chip brush. These are super cheap. You can get them in the paint aisle. They cost maybe $1.90. And so what we're gonna do is use this product as a sealer, and we're gonna paint it over the entire candlestick. You could just do the knots if you wanted to, but I don't want to run the risk of anything coming through on these candlesticks, so I'm going to do the entire piece. So I'm just working my way around the candlestick, shellacking as I go. So I'm just making sure that I get all of the areas, and I don't know if you can tell already, but we already have a color change. This area where I've applied the shellac is kind of like an amber color, and this area that's raw wood up here is more of a lighter color. So you are going to see a color change as you shellac, and that'll help you figure out where you've applied it and where you still need to get. So that will help. And then I'm just going to get right around the top here, where this is where you put the candle, and there's a little rim of wood. So I just want to get up in there, and there we go. So now this needs to sit for about an hour to let it dry, but I actually happen to have one that's already dry. Da-da-da! So you can see that as it dries, it does kind of lighten a little bit in color, but this one is all sealed up and ready to go. So the next step is to paint. Now comes the fun part, and that is mixing Miss Mustard Seed's milk paint. So here I have the color Schloss and a measuring scoop, a stirring implement, my mixing vessel, and then just some regular old tap water. So to cover 2 candlesticks, I'm going to measure out about 3 tablespoons of Miss Mustard Seed's milk paint. You want to just kind of get a rough scoop, and then I'm going to put in the same amount of water. So there's 1, and then 2, last one, 3. Now, what we need to do next is we need to start stirring our milk paint. The stirring process is probably the most important step that you need to take when you're doing anything with milk paint. Because Miss Mustard Seed's milk paint is a powdered paint that you mix with water, you need to give the milk paint some time to absorb all of the powder and the water, and for everything to come together. That doesn't happen within 30 seconds. It takes a little bit of time. So what I'm doing is I'm using my popsicle stick, and I'm kind of scraping the sides and scraping the bottom, and I'm going to stir this for maybe 30 seconds to a minute straight. Now that my milk paint is all mixed, I'm going to give it a chance to rest. This resting period is really important because it gives the milk paint powder and the water a chance to come together and thicken up. That will give you the consistency that you're looking for. Now that my milk paint has had a chance to sit and rest, I want to test its consistency to make sure that it's ready to go on our candlesticks. So what I'm going to do is give it a quick stir and get some paint on my stir stick and lift it up. And when I do that, what I'm looking for is how does the milk paint fall off the stick? So let's take a look. Can you see how the milk paint is coming off in a steady, consistent stream? It's not super drippy and it's not really clumpy. It's just one nice, creamy, consistent stream. That means that your milk paint is ready to go. It should resemble melted ice cream.